Honkai Star Rail is going into version 1.3 as of tomorrow, and we already know that our first banner is going to be of a 5-star variant of a character that we got in the beginning of the game. That's right, we're talking about Danheng, Imbibitor Lunae. Now, everybody's been excited about Imbibitor Lunae since his first intro, really in, I think it was 1.2, yeah. 1.2 or 1.1 when we finally got like a little bit of word about him. But honestly, people have been really stoked on him. Leaks have made people scramble for him. But the question is his banner worth your, stellar jade at this point? So that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we get into that, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. And don't forget to hit the notification bell to be notified of when the next Honkai Star Rail video comes out. Guys, again, gamer subs, 10% off, link down in the description. Would love for you guys to get some good gluten-free, keto-friendly energy. We actually have the Sigma Brain variant coming out shortly, which is a spicy margarita based off of H3H3. But without any further delay, let's go ahead and get right into it. Imbibitor Lunae, right? He is here. We're ready for him. We want him so badly, right? And I can already tell you right now, I'm pretty stoked on him. But we also got to take a look at the 4 stars here. Now, don't pay attention to the fact that this is a screenshot from the stream. I do feel bad for the quality, but we're not here about the quality of the screenshot. We're here to talk about what's actually on the screenshot. So let's go ahead and start out with the first of the 5 stars that I want to talk about, which is the oldest of the 5 stars technically, or at least in consumption, and that is March 7th. Now, March 7th has been that character that everybody has liked really for a while, and actually, let me rephrase that. People hated on March 7th before, but then when they actually used her, she became a, fan favorite. She's definitely one of those characters that I feel, her personality is a very bubbly one that people actually enjoy, but some people do hate her. It's a very 50-50 when it comes to the personality, but there's no denying that March 7th is a great defensive wall for you. Now let's go ahead and talk about first the skill that I have right here. Skill, which is the power of cuteness, provides a single ally with shield that can absorb damage equal to 66.5% of March 7th's defense, plus 974 for 3 turns. If the ally's current HP percentage is 30% or higher, greatly increases the chance of enemies attacking the ally. Now, I know it's not all about the skills and ultimates, but this should help you at least with that. She gets really good defensive buffs, at least in my opinion, and can provide that shield when need be. Now let's go ahead and talk about our ultimate. The Glacial Cascade deals ice damage equal to 180% of March 7th's attack to all enemies. Hit enemies have a 50% base chance to become frozen for 1 turn, which is crucial. Frozen actually pretty pog. While frozen, enemies cannot take action and will receive additional ice damage equal to 75% of March 7th's attack at the beginning of each turn. But understand that I think her defensive capabilities are much more needed, or much more relevant? I don't know. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about Asta next. Now, Asta is a support character that is going to help you out with a buff in speed. Now, don't pay attention to her normal and her skill. Her speed buff in the ultimate is what you really want to focus on, which is fantastic. You want to make sure to actually benefit from that, and she's a great support in that regard. However, I will say she's been kind of outpaced by a lot of other units that have buffed a little bit better, aka Jingyuan, Bronya, and of course the latest 4-star that we're actually going to talk about, and one of my favorites, Wukong. Now, people might argue with me that Asta is not outpaced by Wukong, but I absolutely disagree. I think Wukong is actually really good. Is she the best? Initially, I thought she could be better than Jingyuan. I'm not entirely, I'm not entirely right with that. But at the same time, I love Wukong's kit. I use her on a consistent basis. But let's go ahead and talk about her kit really quick. Her skill, Emboldening Salvo, obtain 2 stacks of Roaring Bowstrings to a maximum of 2 stacks. When Roaring Bowstrings is active, the attack of all allies increases by 100%, and every time an ally's turn, including Wukong's, ends, Wukong loses 1 stack of Roaring Bowstrings. When it is the turn where Wukong gains Roaring Bowstrings by using the skill, sorry about that, Roaring Bowstrings will not be removed. Now, Warring Bowstrings works really, really well, and it's tough at the same time because of the fact that you lose it after 2 of your character's turns. So that's the only crucial part of it, in my personal opinion, that really kind of leaves a lot to be desired. But her ultimate is fantastic. Divine Kestrel. If Roaring Bowstrings is active on Yukong, when her ultimate is used, additionally increases all allies' crit rate by 31.5% and crit damage by 78%. At the same time, deals imaginary damage equal to 456% of Yukong's attack to a single enemy. This is why I think Yukong is a big heavy hitter. The only problem is that she's going to have a lot of skill consumption. Speaking of skill consumption, let's go ahead and talk about Imbibitor Lunae. Guys, he is going to hit like a freaking truck. We already know this, but the problem is that his skill is going to eat up skill points unless you're able to use this little doohickey right here. Let me pull up the name of it. I am underprepared apparently on this, but if you're able to use his stacks of Righteous Heart instead of the normal skill stacks, then you're fine. But the problem is that you have to get those stacks beforehand, and Imbibitor Lunae sucks up those skill points. Now, we're gonna see a lot of 5 stars actually eat up skill points like mad. I'm not gonna sit here and say that this is something new, especially since we saw it with someone like Blade. Blade did eat up stacks a little bit. Not so much, but a little bit. But I digress. My whole point to this is that if you're going to base a team off of these 4 characters, you're going to be using a lot of skill points. 1, the skill on March 7th is to help shield you, so you're gonna need skill points for that. 2, at least Asta doesn't need to use the skill points too much, but if you want to get some pyro damage off, that's great. You could use that for multiple opponents on her skill, but the main thing is that you want to use her ultimate. 3, if you want to use Yukong, you're going to use skill points and her ultimate on a consistent basis to help your Imbibitor Lunae. And then, of course, Imbibitor Lunae uses skills unless you're about to get the Righteous Heart. Which leads me to the question, is this a banner you should summon on? Now, if you are going on this banner needing some crucial units, I wouldn't use these units all in one team, at least personally for me, because again, that's a lot of skill point consumption. However, I will say that the combination of Imbibitor Lunae and Yukong is really, really good. Even with all the skill point consumption, you could balance out your team in that regard to help you out. The 4 stars are fantastic. Don't get me wrong on that. Asta and March 7th are great, but you get a free copy of them anyways. So you would just be going for Eidolons. And if you started out in version 1.2, you got a free copy of Yukong. So all these characters are already free. You've already probably gotten them before if you've been playing since the start of Honkai Star Rail. But if you haven't, they're still really, really good. I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna get Asta on March 7th because that's just part of the story, but the Yukong you might not have gotten. Anyway, I digress. All really good 4 stars. Imbibitor Lunae, a really, really good 5 star. Is this a must summon? I mean, it might be one of those things where I get put on the, or, you know, hung at the stake at this point. But I don't think that this banner itself makes Imbibitor Lunae a summonable unit, but I will say that Imbibitor Lunae's worth makes him somewhat of a must summon. Now, granted, I would say if you're saving for Jingyuan or maybe even Topaz and, you know, her little buddy, yeah, you could skip. You could absolutely skip this banner. However, if you're a big Danheng fan, it makes sense for you to summon on Imbibitor Lunae. Now, y'all, that's going to be it for today's video. Hopefully, I cleared up a couple things when it comes to these units. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. Would love to hear y'all's opinion on this. But that's going to be it for today. Love y'all to death. And as always, we'll catch y'all in the next video. Please take care, be safe.